is going to review an amazing book. She is a lady who has been part of Speaker Circle from quite some time now, has done a lot of live sessions earlier, some book reviews, some movie reviews, even some poetry, some storytelling. I think she's a versatile person. She lives in Pune. She has completed her post graduation, that is BA LLB, from Pune University. She is a freelancer, trainer at Orchids Education. She is in the field of education for more than 15 years now. She loves listening to music, doing yoga, and playing golf. Let us put our hands together for our first speaker of the day, that is Anjali Sangvi. Hello, Anjali ji, how are you?
Hello, Nancy. I'm doing well, and thank you so much for having me on this show. I'm going to review a book, and it's called Sankhara. That is the pronunciation in French. And we, maybe in India, we will say Sankara, but it is in French. And the lady author, her name is Frederic Biget. So one of
Okay.
my very close friends, Manuel Casamian, she translated the entire book for me. And that's how I got to learn about the beauty of the language and also the beauty of the emotions. So I'm going to request you, Nancy. The book is called Sankhara, and the author, the lady author, is Frederic Digelt. And I'm going to request you to please play the two videos, and we will ask Manuel to tell us a little bit about the book, first in French and then in English.
Sankhara de Frédéric Deguel raconte l'histoire d'Hélène et Sébastien, qui est un couple en crise. Hélène décide de partir, faire une méditation en silence pendant 10 jours. Son mari Sébastien ne sait pas où elle est et il doit gérer la rentrée scolaire de leurs jumeaux qui ont 5 ans et son travail de journaliste au moment des attentats de septembre 2001. Le roman raconte la vie de ce couple pendant ces 10 jours, du côté d'Hélène, qui est dans le monde de la méditation, du silence, de la transformation intérieure, et du quotidien de Sébastien, qui est plongé dans la fureur du monde. Et le roman questionne dans quelle mesure est-on influencé par le monde extérieur, dans quelle mesure est-on prisonnier de nos conditionnements. Sankhara étant conditionnement en langue pali.
So, are we going to play the English version now, Nancy?
By Frédéric Deguel tells the story of Hélène Sébastien, a couple in crisis. Hélène decides to leave to do a Vipassana meditation, a 10-day meditation in silence. Her husband, Sébastien, does not know where she is. He has to manage the return to school of their 5-year-old twins and his work as a journalist during the September 2001 attacks. The novel tells these 10 days in the couple life from the point of view of Ellen, who is in the world of silence, meditation, inner transformation, and on the side of Sebastian, who is immersed in the fury of the world. The novel questions to what extent are we influenced by the outside world, and to what extent are we dependent on our conditioning. Sankhara means conditioning in Pali.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nancy. So, didn't the French sound so exotic? And the language is like music to the ears. I'm a huge fan of the French language. Now, this book, Sankaha, it is written by Frederic Diget. So, she is a prolific, a bestseller author from France. And as far as I know, she has written more than 26 books. And I can remember another one. La Vie d'une autre. Each one of her books, it talks about human emotions. So this book, Sankhara, was published in 2020. And it is about the terrorist attacks in America in September 2001. So, what happens? If there is a disaster in any part of the world, it affects the whole world at large. There is an economic downturn, there is inflation, people lose their jobs, there is insecurity. So, this is what happened. There was a happily married couple, a French couple, a young couple. Sebastien, he was the husband, and Elaine was his wife. He was a very, very famous journalist. He was respected, he did great research on all his works, and he was very successful. But when these attacks took place in September, there was a feeling of uncertainty all over the world. So, of course, he didn't get as much work as he used to get. So, this normally happily married couple, they used to nourish and nurture each other, bring up their twins, Leo and Mona. They were 5-year-old twins. But when this started happening, the money was less. Now, the wife, Elaine, she used to write. She was a writer, but she couldn't sell her books, and so there was no money for her. But when the situation, the disaster outside started creeping inside the family space, Sebastian lost his normal persona and he started taking out all his negative energies on his wife. He would not respect her apart from the fact that she was a mother, and that was all that he thought about her. And Elaine used to wonder what happened to our marriage and why have I become only a mother? I have a personality of my own and I want to feel worthy, I want to be respected and loved. So one fine day, in this situation, when there was a disaster in the world, Sebastian was extremely mentally disturbed. They both had a terrible fight, and what led to her going away from home. Now, she as a person did not believe in meditation. She thought it was a fashionable fad. One of her friends had introduced her to the idea and the teachings of Vipassana meditation. So she decided to give it a try because she wanted to center herself. She wanted to regain within herself that strength to face all the onslaughts of this life. And so, what did she do? She just enrolled herself in a silence meditation vipassana course in France. Now, they used to live in a very cozy suburb of Paris, Rambouillet, I think that's the pronunciation. And so one day she just upped it and she left. She left a letter for her husband and she felt a lot of guilt to leave her children behind. But she went. She needed to go for this Vipassana. Now, in the book, they have not mentioned the exact place where she went. They just said countryside. Now, people who follow Vipassana meditation, they would know that about 600 miles south of Paris, Goenkaji, 60 years ago, he established Dhamma Mahi, which was the first center for Vipassana, and many other centers came up in France after that. So, where exactly she went or to which center is not disclosed, but she went. And she was in that spiritual surroundings where she was getting to know her inner self again. And here, Sebastian, he was beside himself with worry, and he was furious, at the same time resentful, full of hatred, anger, because he had to look after the children, and which he would have normally done, but he had his work, and he had to take them to school, feed them, bathe them, look after their playtime, their mental and emotional well-being. He had to do everything, and then he didn't even know where she had gone. Now, this book had lots and lots of takeaways for me. One was that the realities, the stark realities of life. We cannot watch life with rose tinted glasses. We cannot pretend that everything is hunky dory. We have to stand up to the challenges of this life, at the same time not lose our strength. We have to transcend ourselves so that we can face the limitations which life forces us to face. Now, on the other hand, the second takeaway was the beauty of the language. The lady author, Frances Digant, through her pen, she has created protagonists, characters. She has given them a form, a depth, a gravity, and she has made them speak words and behave in the most human way under the circumstances. That is full of hatred, anger, wanting one upmanship. So, with her pen, when she can get through to the emotions of the readers get to empathize what she's trying to convey. And then we realize that these things happen all over the world. It is similar now. There is a COVID going on. Lots of people, they are facing a crisis. Virtually everyone has a loved one who has had COVID, and it has been unfortunate in so many circumstances. So, is this a time when we have to gather our resources as human beings together and not lose our centering? And then, apart from that, when Elaine, she went to this Vipassana center, there was a spiritual energy entering her body. So we realize that we are part of the universe. The same energy that moves the universe, the planets, the earth, the nature, we are the same energy. At the end of the day, human beings are not the mind or not the body, but they are only energy. And everyone needs it in any kind of philosophy. Sankhara is used, the word is used very often in Buddhism. In any kind of philosophy, whether Oriental or Occidental, there is some technique by which we can find our inner strength, connect with our soul. So, of course, Elaine wanted to do Vipassana, but we all can do it. We can transcend our negative energies and cope with whatever life has to offer us, not only in good times, but in bad times. And then again, another takeaway is the power of silence. See, whatever thoughts we have in our mind, any ideas, even if we don't speak, it creates a sound in the universe. The unstruck sound, we call it anahat in India, that also causes ripples of energy. And we all do that with thoughts and ideas. So it's better to keep some positive energy around us. So it benefited Elaine a lot these 10 days because she didn't want to break her marriage. They were so good as a couple together. But the crisis outside had pervaded their home and they could have easily broken up. But there was a way out. And then I just thought, as a trainer, that just for our young people, we introduce them to different skills, education, entertainment, sports. So, why not introduce them to good literature from all over the world? And then after that, they can decide which author they want to choose, whether it is theater or poetry or just plain narration, literature. But it would be lovely for them to read this book. Now, I am not going to disclose the end of this book. It is exciting, it is something that we may not have expected. So, I would encourage all our audiences to please read the book and find out what happens in the end. Do Sebastian and Elaine get back together on the same footing that they are at? Or what happens? So, come on, get excited, find out. There's so many beautiful stories that have come out even through the pandemic or attacks, terrorist attacks, earthquakes, financial losses. So many things happen, but the human spirit, it endures. So I would like to tell you that I really enjoyed reading this book because it was not just about beautiful things like romance, but it was about the stark realities of life. So thank you so much for a patient hearing. and I am very happy to have you as an audience. Thanks again, and hope to see you soon.